One of my personal favorite genres of videos game has always been the platformer, with specific emphasis on the 3D variety. Psychonauts, Ratchet & Clank, Ty the Tasmanian Tiger, Banjo-Kazooie. These games and more have brought me countless hours of entertainment, and while the genre itself seemed to dip in popularity once Halo and Call of Duty began to dominate the industry, there's been quite the resurgence in recent history of these games. There have been plenty of remakes of classics that have come out, such as the Spyro Reignited trilogy or SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. Even just saying that title out loud makes me feel like I need to be rehydrated. But more recent releases like Psychonauts 2 and Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, show that the genre isn't gone from the AAA space. And where there are gaps in releases, indie titles like Yooka-Laylee, A Hat in Time, and Pumpkin Jack have helped fill the void left behind. And today, I'm honored to help present my first impressions of an upcoming 3D platformer projecting to release on Steam, Epic Game Store, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 5 around March 2024 called Mariposa and the Galaxy Man. Developed by Anastasia Snyder, aka Inkrose, in collaboration with Studio Syndicat and TYM Studio, Mariposa and the Galaxy Man is a platformer with levels based on different planets from different decades of the 1900s. As you traverse these worlds with our multi-armed titular character, players will solve physics-based puzzles, save adorable little space creatures, interact with a variety of fun and unique characters, and do other things you might expect from a game inspired by Sly Cooper and Psychonauts. And for all you Portal fans out there, you'll probably get a kick out of the combat system, since it's less about hammering your opponents with attacks and more about incapacitating, trapping, or just altogether avoiding them using your myriad of abilities. How do I know all this from a game that's in pre-alpha, you may ask? Well, on top of the main website detailing the many features that the game will include, as of February 18th, a free 2-hour demo was made available on Steam for anyone to check out and play. So the rest of this video is basically going to be talking about my experiences with said demo. Full disclosure before we begin that though, I was contacted through email by Anastasia and asked if I would make a video about the game. All opinions expressed in this video are my own and my honest thoughts on the game based on my experience playing the demo with mouse and keyboard, and said opinions were encouraged through my communications with Anastasia. I highly encourage you to try out the demo for yourself though, so go do that, then come back here and hear what I have to say. Starting things off, the animation of the character models isn't the best, but considering that A, this is a 3-person team, and B, this is in pre-alpha, I'm more than willing to give it a pass. The character designs are cute and inviting and still full of gorgeous detail. There's a variety of facial and body poses for them to swap between to help convey different emotions, and in general there's just a sense of mystery to this budding sci-fi meets fantasy world that is conveyed through the environment. The obvious star of the show is Mariposa herself, since she's the main character and who you're going to be looking at for the majority of the time. She reminds me a lot of Star from Star vs. the Forces of Evil, with a bubbly and upbeat attitude and desire to prove herself, but instead of weird magic that basically does whatever she wants, Mari has telekinesis. Alongside Mari, we get a glimpse at just a few other characters through this demo, like the young Kika, who has a pair of familiar-looking dolls, Aunt Dawn, who cares for Mari while her parents are off to war and is the owner of the animal sanctuary the demo takes place in, and then there's Bonnie, a 1920s flapper girl who wants to be an archaeologist and is just adorable. Each character fits into a specific role within the demo, and I assume these roles will be expanded upon further once the final game is released. Aunt Dawn is the boss who gives you various tasks to perform, but will likely be a guiding hand on your journey throughout the game. Bonnie gives Mari some insight to strange creatures that pop up during the demo, and may act as a sort of Professor Oak-style expert that can be called upon when needed. And then Kika asks you to get her a book. The one criticism I will levy against the cutscenes in particular is just how static they are. Still frame back-to-back shots or picture-in-picture communication is largely all we get aside from 1 or 2 swooping shots to showcase environments or the demo's one boss. Again though, I assume this is because we're still in very early development here, so all I can hope for is perhaps a few more dynamic camera angles during dialogue scenes as updates come out. Maybe the developers could experiment with camera angles by having miniature wildlife documentary style videos detailing each of the fantastical creatures that appear in the game. There's already several podiums littered around the hub area showing the creatures, so this could be a nice little bit of easy world building as well as a way to test out the many features of the camera in-game. Speaking of the creatures though, a variety of them are shown here in the demo and they're all really cute, but for the time being they're more or less just extra window dressing. Some of them you can't even use your telekinesis to pick up yet, which is admittedly a shame, but the biggest shame of all is that I can't pet any of them like I saw in the trailer. Look at their cute little faces, wanting to be pet. Let me pet the babies. But this is a game, so I suppose it's time we talk about the two main gameplay features highlighted through this demo: the platforming and the zero-G combat/puzzle solving. The platforming itself is pretty straightforward, but can be a bit clunky at times, and the zero-gravity gameplay does have its own positive and negative quirks. The platforming is great because Mari has a bunch of different means of traversal: walking, running, an air dash, a double jump, and a direction-based float that can be used to reach incredible heights and distances. Learning how best to use these in tandem can help you clear vast distances across the map, and I can only assume the final product will include either more abilities or ways to enhance the current ones, like an extension to your stamina or additional air dashes or something along those lines. But the problem here is that the movement didn't always work well for me, with some occasions feeling like my inputs were just straight up ignored, especially when I was basically forced to platform to advance. Throughout the demo, you go into 4 different themed habitats for animals, one of them being an ice area for cold weather creatures, as well as a space dome with zero-gravity platforming and another new ability I'll touch on in a moment. In both instances, I found myself struggling for a few key reasons. With the ice level, some of the platforms require you to double jump, air dash, and float in order to properly reach them, and I just don't know if it was because I hadn't fully grasped the controls yet by this point, or some minor technical issue on my end, but I spent a good 10 minutes just trying to clear this section. Maybe adding an additional platform or making the platforms move a little bit more dynamically would help here. I'm honestly not sure. Thankfully, I didn't also have to use my telekinesis to help deliver food to the animals in this section. But then I got to the Space Dome. The Space Dome introduces what is essentially a psychic hookshot, allowing you to propel yourself through the air or pull yourself into specifically marked sections of the map. It works well and is all fine and good, but when you combine this with the zero-gravity environment and the fact that you're supposed to be bringing food capsules to designated locations in said zero-gravity environment using your telekinesis, but switching to the hookshot cancels that out, it makes for a slightly frustrating game of angles attempting to fly just right to get to where you need to go. Allowing me to still hold on to something with the telekinesis as I'm using this grapple could potentially alleviate this problem, but I understand that there could be some difficulties in development that prevent such things from happening. The biggest problem I think I had with Mari's zero-G abilities was trying to cover stuff before psychically picking it up, the main focus of your abilities in the game. When it works, it's fun to try and get the momentum you need to propel something forward, or just fun to run around with a cute little creature. And I'd love to see how these physics are implemented into future puzzles, but the system works best with larger objects, giving me struggles with anything smaller than Mari herself. As I mentioned, in each of the environment domes, you are tasked with feeding the animals, bringing specifically colored bundles of food to feeding troughs throughout the area. All you have to do is get the food a bit wet with zero-gravity energy, pick it up, and psychically carry it through to the trough in question. The problem is with how the wetting is currently implemented. I have got to find a better way to say that. In order to get something covered in Mari's psychic paint, you have to face it and click, meaning I would occasionally fidget in place trying to get to the right angle towards the object in question. Even then, it wouldn't always work for me, and I spent a considerable amount of time trying to cover this lumpy pecan in the first area as a result. It's a minor annoyance that can be make or break in tense combat situations, but I do have 2 potential solutions on how to alleviate this. The first fix would be to include a lock-on mechanic of some kind, rather than base the shot on whatever direction Mari is facing. The best example I can provide to this is Psychonauts and the Psyblast ability, where you lock onto a target before blasting them. You're still able to blast enemies without locking on, with Raz firing in whatever direction he's currently facing, but for precise attacks, you can lock on and blast away. Barring that, adding a reticle that helps aim the colorful coating instead could help mitigate that needless fidgeting I mentioned I had to do earlier. The second addition I feel is easier to implement, and that's just simply adding a white outline or something around the object you're currently facing before coating it to confirm that you're actually targeting it. This could work in tandem with the lock-on I mentioned before, but having a clear indication that I'm facing my intended target could help out immensely and prevent further impromptu river dancing on my part. Now, it might sound like I'm ragging on the zero-G element of the game, and that's not my intention here at all. I just want to make it perfectly clear that I enjoy how this feature is implemented into the game in its current state. Running around the open area and just letting myself fly is a lot of fun, but I would like to see a few minor fixes to help it become that much more widely appealing. Any criticism I levy towards this project is with the full understanding that this is not the final product, and that any future additions or fixes will hopefully be done to help enhance the experience, not tear it down. This is very clearly a unique vision from an inspired creator, and I genuinely like how this game is shaping out just based on this small demo. As I mentioned, the character designs are all very well done, the zero-G abilities allow you to pull off some impressive maneuvers, and the vibrant world that the demo allows us to explore, while small, is an impressively detailed display from, again, a 3-person development team. I love finding unique and fun experiences to play in general, especially from smaller development teams, and I fully intend to continue supporting this project to the best of my ability. And what's better is that if you want to help support this game like I do, then you can do just that right now. A Kickstarter campaign went live alongside the demo, and by clicking the link in the description below or on the Steam page for the demo, you can help fund this game and hopefully help see its development through to the end. Even better, if the campaign reaches the $100,000 or more stretch goal in funding, they will be adding full voice acting into the game. So now, along with me telling you to go and check out the demo and support the Kickstarter, this video will also act as my official announcement that I am campaigning to be the voice of the Galaxy Man himself, Alex. He's quirky and energetic, naturally extroverted, and is a being made up of literal stars, so it would be the perfect role for a mostly silly, introverted, flesh and blood human boy like me. Seriously though, Anastasia, hit me up if you need any additional voice talent, even if it's not for Alex. I'll be a dang beetle if you want. This game just looks cute and I'd love to be a part of it. But that, my friendos, is Mariposa and the Galaxy Man. Or at least what I was able to get out of the 2-hour demo and various screenshots. I genuinely see a lot of promise with this game, even if I'm not the intended target market, and would love to help see it become a full-fledged title for the people who it was made for. The demo for Mariposa and the Galaxy Man is live on Steam, and if you really like what you played and want to help support the creation of this game, be sure to head over to Kickstarter following the link in the description. If you played the demo, let me know what you thought down in the comments below so we can share those thoughts with the development team, but also be sure to leave a comment on the Kickstarter page itself so they can get a more direct access to them. Either way, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoy the game if you tried it out, and I will see all of you in the next video. Take care.